Hello aspirants, welcome to Daily Dose section of 19th August 2021. Today again we are meeting here to discuss the important news snippets which will be important for your prelims perspective. From your mains point of view, you will get database, and from your essay perspective also you are going to get lot of information. Before that, I want you all to please go through the link in the description box and please fill the Strike Daily Initiative form, where you will be provided with lot of free UPSC material like important articles from famous magazines, Frontline, Yojana, Kurukshetra, PIB material, all the compilation of these things, questions related to mains and prelims, which are very important, and on a daily basis you are going to get certain practice questions. You will also be provided with certain particular timetable related to your own time strategy and everything. So I want you all to please go through that form, have a look at it, and try to gain whatever important opportunity you are getting. So starting with that, the first news in today's newspaper was related to interim measure. The Supreme Court allows women to take NDA exam. Now, this was in relation to or in continuation with the earlier decree which was given by the Supreme Court that women members are now allowed in the permanent commission, which was earlier not given to the women members in the Army and Air Force and Navy. So now in Indian Army, the women too can take a permanent commission position for a long term of service. Earlier it was only related to SSC, that is short service commission. Now they are allowed for the long term commission. So on that basis, the Supreme Court had allowed women to take the NDA exam also, right? So on the basis of UPSC or non UPSC people, UPSC is only going to UPSC conducts this exam. So on the basis of that, even the women members will be allowed. Now this is a very good and important news related to how representative India is becoming in every sector. One news again related to women members or women judges in the Supreme Court, and it is an expectation that we may get the first CGI, first women CGI in our country. So the representation of women or representation of females in India, how it is increasing and what India is doing, right, to bring up the equality, to bring up a pace in the speed with which the men and women are coming on equal platforms, on same platforms. In terms of that, you can utilize these two news pieces together. In essay you can use it, in mains exam also use it. Prelims mein to itna important nahi hai, but from mains and essay point of view, these things are going to provide you a different area of interest, where you can provide certain new dimensions to your answers, right? So how representative we are becoming, how equal we are becoming, those things are very much clear from these two pieces of news, right? So only important thing is that now women candidates too can take up the NDA exam. The next in news is Cabinet approves ratification of Kigali Agreement on Montreal Protocol and substances that deplete the ozone layer for phase down of hydrofluorocarbons, that is HFCs. And there is a national strategy which has been approved by the cabinet to phase down the hydrofluorocarbons which are being used as refrigerants and coolants in our AC system. So this Kigali Agreement is a continuation to your Montreal Protocol, which was earlier brought in order to bring down or phase out the hydrofluorocarbons, the CFCs, HFCs, etc., which was depleting the ozone substances, right? Now, since we have approved it, so important from your prelims perspective is what hydrofluorocarbons are, how potent they are in increasing the global warming situation in India, or how potent they are in how important they have the global warming potential, right? So for that, just use this particular figure if you see. So what HFCs are? These are powerful man-made greenhouse gases that are rapidly building up in the atmosphere, and hydrofluorocarbons are nothing but compound of hydrogen, fluorides and chlorides, right? So that is a combination of hydrogen, fluorine and chlorine, and all these gases which are going into the atmosphere, which are going into the stratosphere, they are providing nascent area or nascent molecules for ozone to get depleted. right? They are reacting with the oxygen. Oxygen is getting ozone is getting depleted, and ultimately uh, they are acting as a base for this whole ozone hole depletion, right? So consumption, HFCs are a group of industrial chemicals primarily used for conditioning and refrigeration. Lifetime in atmosphere, if you see, 15 years on an average. So if you talk about carbon dioxide, so though it is a very harmful greenhouse gas, right? It is providing a greenhouse gas, but the potential, if we talk about, so the longer the gases, the harmful gases remain in the atmosphere, the more the damage they will cause, right? The same thing is not happening with carbon dioxide. It is there in a large quantity, but for a short period of time, it is creating impact. Why these are much harmful than carbon dioxide? Why? Because they remain in the atmosphere for a very long period of time, and they have a huge potential to not only deplete the ozone layer but also to cause greenhouse gas emissions, right? Many HFCs, they are short-lived climate pollutants. The most abundant are HFC 134A, which is 3,790 times more damaging to the climate than carbon dioxide over a 20-year period. So this is the kind of danger which these HFCs are providing, right? If you go to the figures of how much consumption of HFCs are taking place in our household activities, in our industrial activities. So residential, commercial and industrial air conditioning and refrigeration is the largest chunk of this HFCs where this HFCs are being used. So 47% over there. Then mobile and air conditioning, it is 24%. For foam agents in industrial purposes, it is 11%. Unitary and conditioning, it is 8%. Aerosols, again 5%, which are used in perfumes and everything. Fire extinguishers, solvents, 5%. So this is the danger that these HFCs are giving to the atmosphere, to the nature. So what we have to do for avoiding the future emissions? For this only, this Kigali Agreement was brought into picture. So earlier in Montreal Protocol, which was there since a long period of time, and it was one of the most successful convention or agreement which was signed by all the countries, ratified by all the countries, and has shown its impact, right? Because all the countries were signatories, so they had taken a lot of effort in curbing down the emission of these CFCs and all, which are the ozone depleting substances, by the help of sharing of technology, by the help of sharing of funding, everything. So in continuation to that, the Kigali Agreement had come into picture, which is now there to phase down the usage of HFCs, that is hydrofluorocarbons. And if you talk about India's steps to curb down or to bring down the carbon dioxide gas emissions, or to curb down the greenhouse gas emissions, this thing. So we are moving towards in a very fast pace to achieve our climate goals, which we have signed in Paris climate deals. And we are one of the country which are on line to whatever agreements we had made, right? So curbing down or reducing our emissions, reducing our dependence on these thermal energy by 33 to 35% by certain quantity, and increasing our renewable energy intake by 33 to 35% by 2030. We are very much in line to achieve those targets. So we are one of the successful countries. And many countries are talking about getting carbon neutral. On that instance, India can't do much as of now because we are already in a developing stage. Our per capita emission is less, but yes, we have to work forward in a sustainable way. That is what is required by India, right? So all these things, so let's just go through this picture and you will get an idea of what HFCs are and how much emissions it is causing, right? Next is government adopts differing stance on snooping. So again, this is a piece of news which I had covered on the very first day related to Pegasus spyware. Why now I have taken this into this thing consideration is that a new information which is required for which is important for prelims is that now there is a certain change in stance which Supreme Court had found, right? So earlier it was said that everything related to the snooping, related to the spying and everything is under the Home Ministry head, right? So head is Home Ministry, which is taking up the decisions on what kind of snooping, what kind of these spy thing will happen. But the report which was submitted to the Supreme Court, it came from Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. Ministry of Technology, right? MeitY Ministry, Electronics and Technology. So this was the kind of confusion which was there. On the basis of that, it is given that what convention is there, or what real authentic source is there. So the Home Secretary's power to approve legal interceptions. So the Home Secretary shares this power of providing the legality or sanctioning the approval to the interceptions, if any kind of interceptions are to be made, right? It was mandated under Section 5 Clause 2 of Indian Telegraph Act 1885. So Indian Telegraph Act 1885 provides the power to the Home Ministry to go for any kind of legal interceptions. This power is shared by Home Secretary or Home Ministry, right? Read with Rule 419A of Indian Telegraph First Amendment of 2014 rules and Section 69 of Information Technology Act 2000, read with the Information Technology Procedure and Safeguards of Information. So why is this important? Is because you can get such kind of statements in your prelims. So this is what was important over here, and that's why I took it into consideration. So all these news which we are getting in fragments, I just want you all to consolidate it at one point. So just add it on in your Pegasus spyware wali news mein, you can consolidate it over there, right? Next is Collegium recommends 8 judges for Supreme Court. Now this is again one of the things where we are moving towards providing more representation to the female members, not only in NDA, not only in parliaments, but also even in the judiciary. Amongst many countries, many developing and developed countries, India is one of the country where there is least representation to the women, especially in the judiciary. And we are a country where we share almost 50%, almost 49% of the population is female population. Still, we are laggard in this, where we don't have much of the female members in the judiciary. So this is the first time it is happening that in one go, under one collegium, amongst 8 judges, 3 women judges have been recommended. So Chief Justice N.V. Ramana, he along with his fellow members, which was made as the collegium, it provided names to the members, and for the first time it may happen that B.V. Nagratna, she's I think from Andhra Pradesh court, so she's from Karnataka High Court. She's a judge from Karnataka High Court who may become India's first woman CJI a few years from now. So she may become the first woman CJI. Just imagine, right from 1947 when we achieve our independence, और उसके पहले छोड़ दो, सबसे पहले जब हमारा सुप्रीम कोर्ट existence में आया in under this Pitts Act के पहले, right, 1774 or something, वहां के बाद से अभी तक में there was no woman CJI in India. Just imagine the plight over here, right? And we have very less number of judges in the Supreme Court as the female judges. So that's why this is a very important thing in terms of providing equality, providing representation to more number of female members. This may act as a very encouraging step, right? So 3 women members in collegium this year, they have been recommended. The next news is DRDO develops advanced shaft technology for IAF's fighter aircraft. So this is under the technology section that DRDO has provided the shaft technology for our Indian Air Force aircrafts. What is this shaft technology? We will know. So DRDO has developed an advanced shaft technology to safeguard the Indian Air Force fighter jets against hostile radar threats. So basically this technology is providing a safety to the Indian Air Force aircrafts against the hostile radars either by chasing them down or by providing the linkages of from where the radars are coming, right? It has been developed by Defense Laboratory in Rajasthan, Jodhpur, in collaboration with High Energy Material Research Laboratory, Pune. So SHAF is nothing. SHAF is a critical defense technology which is used to protect the fighter aircraft from hostile radar threats. It is formed by a small quantity of SHAF material deployed in the air, acts as the decoy to deflect the enemy missiles and ensures the safety of fighter aircraft. So how this technology is being used is that it is used to deflect the coming radars, which are incoming radars, away from our own aircraft. The enemy radars, if coming, it will deflect those radars. So this is how it is being made. So what is this? What is advanced shaft technology? So it is an electronic countermeasure technology which is used by militaries worldwide to protect their assets, especially the aircrafts, the navy materials, etc. And it protects the assets from radar and radio frequency. So it provide a kind of isolation, or it provide a kind of defense from the incoming enemy missiles by providing certain kind of radio signals, right? And in case of naval ships, shaft rockets are deployed in the air, which acts as multiple targets for missile guidance system. So what is important over here is that we have already deployed this technology in our naval variants. Now it is coming in the Air Force. Now it has been formed for our Air Force also, right? And there is also a measure or a kind of technology which is used, which is known as flares. So what is the difference between a shaft and a flare is that they both are used as a defensive countermeasure to confuse the radar, the incoming enemy radar. They confuse it from detecting a vessel or deflect the missiles from the target. या तो उसे कंफ्यूज कर देगा कि यहाँ पे कोई टारगेट ही नहीं है, या 2-3 टारगेट्स की इमेज दिखाने लगेगा, राइट? और इट विल डिफ्लेक्ट द मिसाइल. फाइन. There is a major difference between the two, that is flares and shafts. So flares, when fired, they generate a strong infrared source to attract heat-seeking missiles. Shaft is used to misguide the radar tracking weapons. Flares क्या करते हैं? They provide an infrared heat radiation जो कि absorb कर लेगा मिसाइल को, जो incoming मिसाइल होगी. While flares क्या करते हैं, shaft क्या करते हैं? It is used to misguide. वो कुछ different way बता देंगे या कुछ coordinates जो होंगे वो different बता देंगे. So in this way they deflect or they distract the enemy missiles, right? It is composed, that is shaft, it composed of many small aluminum or zinc coated fibers. It will be stored on board the aircraft as cartridges. This is how it will be used. Next is the last news, that is Center to boost oil palm farming. Now, why I have taken this piece of news is that because mostly in prelims you tend to get such kind of news. Oil से related कुछ ना कुछ trend हर साल पूछते ही हैं, right? Right now, तो lot of things are coming into news about now. It may not be related to this, but you have to go through the oil bonds, which is very much into news as of now, right? Because the UPA government had taken the oil bonds, and now that the government is taking up the cess and the taxes to pay off those bond debts, but there are a lot of controversies which are going on. So just go through that oil bonds in a very detailed manner. This particular piece of news is important because for the vegetable oils, or for these oil, India is one of the importers, right? So to boost the domestic production, Indian government has come up with the idea to boost this oil palm farming. So Center will offer a price assurance, viability gap funding, and planting material assistance to the oil palm farmers, and it will provide a boost to this particular farming by decreasing our dependence on imports, right? So we have to basically decrease our import dependence on these, and we have already a mission related to this, that is National Mission on Edible Oils, oil palm, right? So just go through the main features of this. This is not a new program. It is right from a very long period of time it is there. So just go through the features of this. And again, we have already, the mission hopes to increase the oil palm acreage by an additional 6.5 lakh hectares by 2025 to 26, and grow production of crude palm oil to 11.2 lakh tons by 2025 and 26 to 28 lakh tons by 29-30. So this kind of data can be used in your mains answer in GS paper 3. Again, an important piece of news over there is that earlier it will now be regulated by the government. The price of this oil palm will be regulated by the government. Earlier it was dependent on the market prices, market fluctuations. So in case of fluctuation, agar government regulated hoga, so in case of fluctuations, the government will pay off the whatever inequality in prices will come, or whatever kind of differences in the prices will come, it will be paid off. So a kind of assurance de raha hai government, right? So it will encourage more number of farmers to come up with this. Now this is the first time that the center will give oil palm farmers a price assurance. ठीक है, जैसे MSP के केस में price assurance मिलता है, this will be the first time that government will give oil farmers this price assurance. And again, related to this only, if we go about the negative side of this, it may provide a monoculture plantation. It may provide a way to monoculture plantation, which will be harmful for the biodiversity. But for that also, the research had been taken place. It was an assessment had been made by Indian Institute of Oil Palm Research, which has found that 28 lakh hectares across the country It can be safely used for oil palm cultivation, and less than 4 lakh hectares are currently planted with palm oil. 28 ka hamari capacity and only 4 lakh hectares are being used, right? So all these things, this is important for prelims perspective. I want you all to get a trend analysis of how oil palm farming या फिर उनके prices में क्या fluctuations हुए हैं, along with different kind of seed oils which we use like safflower oil, sunflower oil, groundnut oil. तो इनका एक idea आपको होना चाहिए. A broad perspective is required, right? So this was much. This is it for today. We'll meet tomorrow again with some new pieces of information. Till then, thank you everyone.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update from Civil's Daily.